Hello everyone, and welcome to Wham Bam's Guide to Resetting Spell Cooldowns and the Mythical for Spell Gem. Buckle up kiddos, let's jump right into it. As I'm sure most of you already know, by using an instant clicky item such as J-Boots or a Goblin Skull Earring or a Flux Staff, you can make it possible to chain multiple spells together quickly. This resets the global cooldown, as we're going to call it. The cooldown here is universally linked between all of your spells whenever only one spell is cast. This is great for putting out some swift buffs or a lineup of debilitating spells in one rotation. Every caster should have some sort of clicky to do this. The cheapest would be a Comsec Surveyor Scope, which will only set you back about 25 plat. You'll notice pretty quickly that you can't cast the same spell over and over again by using this method. That's because each spell also has their own internal cooldown, and this cooldown is not reset by using a clicky. It is largely thought that by putting a spell in your top spell gem, you can negate this cooldown, so that you can repeatedly spam that same spell over and over. That's not quite how it works, but to be fair, it does look that way with a lot of spells. A more accurate way to think about it would be that it lets you finish a cast at the end of its internal cooldown, as opposed to starting a cast at the end of its internal cooldown. Let me show you here. As you can see, I try to cast Ice Spear Soulist twice in a row using my top spell slot and a clicky. It lets me initiate the cast, however when it finishes it doesn't actually go off, and I instead get a sort of error message saying spell recast time not yet met. The reason for this is because Ice Spear has a 4-second long cast time, but a whopping 13-second cooldown. So even though the game allows me to start the cast immediately after using the top gem trick, as soon as the spell is finished it does a check and it realizes that it's not actually off cooldown and doesn't let me use it. On the other hand, the spell I was spamming in the previous clip, Lure of Ice, has a longer 4.5 second cast time but a super short 2.25 second cooldown time. This means that I can reset it at the top gem and it will always be off cooldown by the time the cast finishes and the game checks it, which essentially allows me to spam it with no cooldown. Now personally, I don't necessarily think this means that only short cooldown spells are useful in the first slot. From a wizard's perspective, I can't actually spam Lure of Ice over and over and over again. It would just get me killed. I have to weave in Concussion. So by using the first slot trick to actually lower the cooldown of Ice Spear Soulist, I feel like this way I can increase my damage output as well as my sustainability. Let me show you here. So in this example, I have Ice Spear Soulist in 2 different slots. Slot 3 on the top screen, and the magical slot 1 on the bottom. And we'll see just how much faster I'm able to finish a second Ice Spear cast by having it in the top slot. So there's about a 15-second difference for every single rotation. It might not seem like all that much, but it's quite a lot, especially considering that I would spam this rotation the entirety of almost every fight. So I'll be getting in at least one extra 1200 damage mana efficient nuke in every mob. That much is pretty much just for wizards though. For the rest of you, I hope you have a better understanding of how these clicky shenanigans work, and I encourage you to play with your spells and see if you come up with anything cool with it. If I got anything wrong or missed anything, feel free to let me know. I may also make a wizard rating tips video later if this one helped out, if there's any interest. Again, let me know. Have a good one, folks.